Tune into Sports 360 with Ahmed Hamad.
On the second day of the second cricket test match between Sri Lanka and Australia, in reply to Sri Lanka's first innings score of 257 with 330 for the loss of 3 wickets at close of second day's play, Australia now lead by 73 runs with 7 wickets in hand. Stand-in captain Stephen Smith with 120 and Alex Carey with 139 runs were still at the crease. Earlier, Sri Lanka resumed their first inning at the overnight score of 229 for the loss of 9 wickets, added another 28 runs and were bowled out for 257. Lahiru Kumara was the 10th and final man to go at 257 in the 98th over. He faced 26 deliveries, stayed at the wicket for 44 minutes and scored 2 runs. He was caught by Beau Webster of the bowling of Koeman, while Kushal Mendes was stranded at 85, 15 runs short of his century. He scored 85 of 139 balls, stayed at the crease for 214 minutes, hitting 10 fours and 1 6 with a strike rate of 61. He is also the highest scorer for Sri Lanka. He made 85 and the second highest scorer was Dinesh Chandimal with 74. Then Damit Karunaratne 36 and Ramesh Mendes with 28 runs were the other significant scorers. For Australia, Mitchell Starc, Matthew Koeman and Nathan Lyon, all three captured 3 wickets each. Mitchell Starc, 16 overs, 3 maiden, 37 runs and 3 wickets with economy of 2.31. Matthew Koeman, 33.4 overs, 9 were maiden, gave away 63 runs and capturing 3 wickets with economy of 1.87, while Nathan Lyon, 34 overs, 5 maiden, 96 runs and 3 wickets with economy of 2.82. Beau Webster bowled 3 overs, gave away 13 runs without taking a wicket. Cooper Connolly also bowled 3 overs with 1 maiden, gave away 12 runs without taking a wicket, while Travis Head also bowled 8 overs, no maiden, 31 runs and 1 wicket. In reply, Australia were 37 for 2. Yes, they lost their first wicket for just 32 runs in the 7th over, and Travis Head was the first man to go after scoring 21 of 22 balls, hitting 3 fours with a strike rate of 95. He was caught by De Silva of the bowling of Paris. Second to go, 5 runs later, was Marnus Labuschagne after scoring just 4 runs in the 8th over of Australian inning, and he was legged before by Parbat Jayasuriya. Then the third wicket fell at 91. Opening batsman Usman Khwaja fell at 36 of 57 balls, hitting 3 fours with a strike rate of 63, and he was legged before by Paris. Then a brilliant 239 runs unbroken partnership for the 4th wicket of 331 balls between Stephen Smith and Alex Carey. Stephen Smith contributed 93 and Alex Carey 139 runs in the partnership. At close of second day's play, Australia batted for 80 overs and scored their runs at a run rate of 4.12, and they were 330 for the loss of 3 wickets. For Sri Lanka, Lahiru Kumara 7 over 1 maiden, 37 runs and no wicket. Dhananjaya De Silva 5 overs for 18 runs without taking a wicket. Nishan Paris 21 overs 2 maiden, 70 runs and 2 wicket. Parbat Jayasuriya 25 overs 3 maiden, 107 runs and 1 wicket. Ramesh Mendes 19 overs no maiden, gave away 70 runs without capturing a wicket, and Kamindu Mendes also bowled 3 overs for 18 runs without taking a wicket. Stephen Smith and Alex Carey dominate with hundreds in a double century stand. Australia took firm control of the second test with a pair of outstanding centuries as Sri Lanka's attack struggled. Seemingly having a ball experimenting with a reverse sweep, Stephen Smith, mastery in Asia, continued, and he combined with the dashing Alex Carey to defy a sharp turning, deteriorating goal surface as Australia grabbed firm control of the second test. The game was in balance when Australia were 91 for 3 just after lunch on day 2 in reply to Sri Lanka's first innings score of 257, but stand-in captain Smith and Alex Carey produced an unbroken 239 runs partnership to deflate a Sri Lankan team staring down the barrel of hefty series defeat. Carey was fluent from the get-go and motored past a tiring Smith by a stump as Australia built a sizable first inning lead on a very dry surface. Smith reached his 36th Test century in style with a boundary in the final session on day 2 and raised his baggy green before nodding several times to his teammates in the terrace. He broke a couple of Australia's record in Asia along the way, having overtaken Ricky Ponting for most runs, and his 7th century lifted him past Alan Border. After a few modest years by his lofty standard, having now scored 4 centuries in his last 8 Test innings, always looking to add his repertoire, Smith rarely used reverse sweeps, and while not always effective, it did give Sri Lanka more to think about. Smith might have been inspired by watching Carey, who swept orthodox and reverse almost flawless as he sped to his 2nd Test century. Fittingly, Carey reached his century with a sweep to the boundary as he raised his arm aloft to cap his strong form in the recent month. It was a significant moment for Carey, who had previously in Sri Lanka and in India come under scrutiny for his compulsive use of sweep. His sublime innings also included quick footwork and brute power as he repeatedly thumped the spinners straight down the ground. Carey batted for the first time in his Test career at number 5, with Josh English having spent a significant period off the field in the Sri Lanka's inning because of back spasm. But Carey was more than comfortable in a position he occupies for South Australia in the Sheffield Shield. It was a major disappointment for Sri Lanka, who went wicketless for almost entirety of the final 2 sessions. Their spinners occasionally produced sharp turn but were unable to sustain the pressure and appeared out of answers as the day wore on. Off spinner Nishan Paris was their most threatening bowler in a good bounce back after he was ineffective in the first Test with none for 189 of 41 overs and deemed fortunate to retain his spot over leg spinner Jeffrey Van der Say. He turned the ball square at times and almost clean bowled Smith just before tea with a fizzing off break that narrowly missed the top of the stumps. But Sri Lanka perhaps will rue not selecting Van der Say after his promising performance in the first Test, while tailsman Parbat Jayasuriya lacked bite after a promising start and he resorted at times to a defensive leg stump line to Smith.
Keep on watching Sports 360 with Ahmed Hamad for latest news, views, and interviews of sports personalities from around the world.